Welcome back to G News Daily, your go-to source for the biggest updates from the USA and across the globe. Today, we are counting down the top 10 most impactful news stories you need to know right now. Before we jump in, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you never miss a world update. Let's get started with number 10. Today, first news, US secures strategic foothold in Pakistan's Reko-Diq mine. In a significant move to bolster national security, the United States has approved a $1.3 billion investment in the Reko-Diq mine located in Balochistan, Pakistan. This funding, authorized by the U.S. Export-Import Bank, is part of President Donald Trump's Project Vault initiative, aimed at building a strategic reserve of critical minerals. As one of the world's largest untapped copper and gold deposits, Reko-Diq is now a cornerstone of Washington's efforts to stabilize supply chains and reduce dependence on rival global powers. The investment highlights the growing geopolitical importance of Balochistan, a region rich in resources but marked by security challenges. By integrating this Barrick Gold-led project into its critical mineral strategy, the U.S. is positioning itself to lead in sectors like defense, renewable energy, and telecommunications. This shift marks a proactive approach in the global race for essential resources, ensuring the U.S. maintains a competitive edge in the high-stakes market for rare earth elements and copper. Next news. Lost AirPods embark on global journey following transatlantic flight. A Canadian journalist's misplaced AirPods have become an unexpected social media sensation after going globetrotting across continents. Claire Hanna, traveling to cover the Milano Cortina 2026 Olympics, accidentally left her earbuds on an Air Canada flight from Toronto to Rome. Despite an initial search by airport staff yielding no results, Hanna has been documenting their bizarre journey via tracking software, watching them bounce between Rome's Fiumicino Airport and Montreal Pierre-Elliott Trudeau International Airport. The viral saga has captivated social media users, who are eagerly following the girlfriend's AirPods Pro as they move between Europe and North America. While Hanna remains without her music, Air Canada has reached out to assist in recovering the world-traveling tech. This story is same as many modern travel mishaps, proving that even lost luggage can have a more adventurous itinerary than its owner. Next news, US issues urgent evacuation order for citizens in Iran. The United States has issued an emergency advisory urging all American citizens to leave Iran immediately as regional tensions reach a breaking point. The virtual US embassy in Tehran warned nationals to depart via land borders to Armenia or Turkey, citing the high risk of flight cancellations and internet outages. This urgent directive follows President Donald Trump's recent threats of military strikes against the Islamic Republic and the deployment of a naval armada, including the USS Abraham Lincoln, to the Gulf. Washington has cautioned that dual US-Iranian nationals face significant risks of detention, as Tehran does not recognize their American citizenship. With President Trump warning that Iranian leadership should be very worried, diplomatic efforts by Turkey continue in hopes of preventing a full-scale conflict. For now, the situation remains same as previous high-stakes standoffs, with the US government advising citizens to maintain a low profile and secure essential supplies, while awaiting safe passage. Next news, ORF releases Navigating Megatrends 2026 Feet report highlighting Global South perspectives. The Observer Research Foundation, ORF, has launched its inaugural global quarterly titled Navigating Megatrends 2026, offering a comprehensive roadmap of the forces set to define international politics and domestic transformations. The report identifies 6 critical domains, ranging from geoeconomics and technology to climate, energy, and immigration, arguing that these trends are mediated by leadership and global institutions. A central focus of the research is the re-election of US President Donald Trump, which scholars suggest will trigger turbulence through high tariffs, US retrenchment from multilateralism, and a shift in military strategies, including potential strikes on strategic targets. The research emphasizes a rebalancing of global power, noting that Global South nations like Indonesia and Mexico are increasingly leveraging their critical mineral reserves to secure favorable trade terms amid US-China competition. Furthermore, the report highlights the no-limits partnership between Russia and China as a primary geopolitical axis, alongside the rise of AI-generated disinformation and the growing role of digital currencies in cross-border trade. This outlook is same across the various sectors analyzed, a world moving toward fragmented but strategic alliances where the Global South must navigate a delicate balance between rapid industrialization and environmental sustainability. Next news, Trump rejects nuclear limits, demands new modernized treaty. US President Donald Trump has officially declined a proposal from Russian President Vladimir Putin to voluntarily maintain limits on strategic nuclear weapons following the expiration of the New START treaty. Declaring the pact a badly negotiated deal that was being grossly violated, Trump has instead called for a modernized agreement that reflects current military realities. This marks the first time in over 50 years that the world's two largest nuclear powers are without a legally binding arms control framework, raising concerns among global experts about a potential new arms race. President Trump defended the decision by citing his extensive efforts to rebuild American military strength, including the creation of the Space Force and a new class of Trump-class battleships. He further claimed credit for preventing nuclear conflicts between several nations, including India and Pakistan, through high-level mediation. As the New START era ends, the situation remains same to same as other major policy shifts under the current administration, prioritizing peace through strength and the pursuit of entirely new bilateral terms over existing international accords. Next news: Italian church altered after angelic fresco resembles Prime Minister Meloni. A historic restoration at Rome's Basilica of San Lorenzo in Lucina has sparked national debate after an angelic figure was found to bear a striking resemblance to Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. The controversy erupted when parishioners noticed the contemporary features on a newly restored fresco, leading to accusations of politicizing sacred art. In response to the growing backlash and a surge of curious tourists, the parish priest ordered the face to be painted over, emphasizing that religious spaces must remain focused on prayer rather than political imagery. The artist, 83-year-old Bruno Valentinetti, initially claimed the likeness was coincidental but later acknowledged the similarity, stating his primary goal was to revive the original lines of the artwork. Prime Minister Meloni took to social media to diffuse the tension, jokingly posting that she definitely does not look like an angel. Despite her humor, the Ministry of Culture has launched an inquiry into the restoration process. The situation is same to same as other instances where modern politics and ancient heritage collide, forcing authorities to reconsider the standards for maintaining cultural and religious neutrality. Next news: POJK residents protest in UK against Pakistan's Kashmir Solidarity Day. Residents of Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir (POJK) gathered outside the Pakistani consulate in Bradford to protest against Kashmir Solidarity Day, labeling the observance a fraud and a day of betrayal. Organised by the United Kashmir People's National Party (UKPNP), the demonstrators argued that Pakistan's narrative of solidarity masks decades of systemic oppression, land grabbing, and the exploitation of natural resources. Protesters raised slogans demanding an end to human rights violations and the unlawful settlement of non-locals in the region, which they claim erases their national identity. Speakers at the rally highlighted that while Pakistan projects a message of support, its actions since 1947 have resulted in the division of the state and the loss of thousands of lives. They accused authorities of failing to honor agreements made with the Awami Action Committee and criticized the state's role in the historic dismemberment of Jammu and Kashmir. This protest is sem to other global demonstrations, where diaspora groups challenge official state narratives, emphasizing that the people of Jammu and Kashmir remain a single nation and rejecting any divisions based on religious grounds. Next news: China showcases military and commercial might at Singapore Airshow 2026. China utilized the Singapore Airshow 2026 to project significant military and aviation influence, capitalizing on perceived U.S. isolationism under President Donald Trump. The People's Liberation Army Air Force made a high-profile debut with its J-10C fighter jets, which arrived via a direct flight from China using YY-20A mid-air refueling tankers, a move signaling enhanced power projection capabilities. This display followed the J-10Ce's surge in international interest after its reported combat success in 2025. Additionally, China unveiled a scale model of its J-35A stealth fighter, positioning it as a viable, cost-effective alternative for nations restricted from or unable to afford the US-made F-35. On the commercial front, state-owned COMAC highlighted its C919 narrow-body and C929 wide-body jets, targeting Southeast Asian markets as a challenge to the Boeing-Airbus duopoly. The airshow saw increased interest from regional delegations, particularly as Washington's focus shifts toward tariffs and America First policies. While Western analysts suggest that establishing a global footprint will take time, Beijing's assertive marketing of defense hardware and aircraft spare parts indicates a strategic bid to reshape regional security and supply chains. The current geopolitical landscape is sem to other recent shifts where China steps in to fill vacancies left by a recalibrating United States. Next news: US and Iran set for high-stakes nuclear talks in Oman amid military tension. Diplomatic representatives from the United States and Iran are scheduled to begin critical negotiations in Oman today, marking the first direct engagement between the two nations since the regional conflict in June 2025. The talks in Muscat follow a period of intense volatility, during which President Donald Trump repeatedly threatened military intervention, and an armada led by the USS Abraham Lincoln was stationed in the Arabian Sea. Despite a recent incident involving the downing of an Iranian drone, both Washington and Tehran appear to be pivoting toward diplomacy to address the escalating nuclear standoff. The Iranian delegation, led by Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, arrives in Oman, insisting that discussions remain strictly focused on nuclear rights and previous commitments. Representing the United States are Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, who carry President Trump's mandate for a new and modernized agreement. The atmosphere surrounding the meeting is sem to previous high-pressure summits, where the threat of renewed military action looms large if diplomatic breakthroughs are not achieved. Global observers are closely watching to see if this dialogue can prevent further destabilization in the Middle East. Next news, Jaishankar hails India-EU FTA as game-changer for strategic partnership. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has described the recently signed India-EU Free Trade Agreement (FTA) as a game-changer during the inaugural India-EU Forum. Addressing the event in partnership with the Ministry of External Affairs, Jaishankar highlighted that the landmark deal, finalized on January 27, opens vast doors for deeper collaboration. Beyond trade, he flagged immense potential in security, defense, climate and technology, aiming to create greater convergence between the two major economies. The agreement covers a combined market of over 2,091.6 lakh rupees crore, providing preferential access to 99% of India's exports. With bilateral trade already reaching 11.5 lakh rupees crore in 2024-25, the FTA is set to eliminate duties on labor-intensive sectors like textiles and gems. By offering a stable environment for MSMEs and enhancing mobility for Indian professionals, the pact transforms India-EU relations into a resilient, future-ready economic partnership.